not so top 5 Tuesday to everyone in this sports universe. This is a day late of the AM Drive. It is March 7th, 2023 on a Tuesday. Aaron Crouch, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm kind of digging like the Monday and Friday stuff. I like the new format.
Yeah, something kind of came up, family matter.
Oh,
So pushing it back a day, but we're okay. Everything's still topical.
as long as nobody died.
Nope.
I'm saying
It's
that
true.
happens, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Alrighty. Go to mikeandaarondrive.com. It's got all of our great sponsors, socials, and YouTube, and our shop in one link tree. It's mikeandaarondrive.com. Like I said, it is March 7th, 2023. Let's get into a segment we're calling All the Hype. We're talking about Anthony. That is not what I want to do with that. We're talking about Anthony Richardson and how he broke quarterback records for broad jump and verticals for a quarterback at the scouting combine. Aaron, I want to first ask you this. Aside from his 40-yard dash and aside from his size, does that matter to you at all from a quarterback?
So I've kind of struggled with this because I wouldn't say struggle. That's not the right word, but I've kind of tried to wrap my head around this Anthony Richardson hype. And initially off the bat, I'm like, this is insane because I watched him at Florida and he's just not a good quarterback.
Right now, yeah.
Now, this might sound like a shock statement or a shock opinion, but I also thought kind of the same thing with Lamar Jackson. I was like, this guy's really not that good of an overall quarterback, but he can become what the league was and still kind of for a small percent of the population is that dual threat type quarterback that can make a good throw. The Michael Vick type really is the first. I mean, Steve Young, I guess you could consider the first, but Michael Vick in our era is really the first that I know that, you know, could throw the ball and, you know, on a rope, had some accuracy. Obviously his feet were just electric.
Yeah.
But some of these guys don't have that Michael Vick type, you know, energy and talent and just charisma. Like Lamar, we still don't know if he's that good of a thrower. Malik Willis is another guy, you know. So I go back to Anthony Richardson and I'm just looking at him. He's just a physical freak, and it's absolutely incredible. And then when they said he was going to start going top 5, maybe top pick in the draft, I'm like, well, this just doesn't make a lot of sense. But the more I look at it, like depending on what spot he goes to, I think there's a really good chance that he can become an incredible quarterback. He does. He has the intangibles. Like I don't care about his vertical jump. Everybody's raving.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't care about that, but you know, arm strength. The one thing that I care about with a quarterback, and I haven't seen this from Richardson yet, so this will be a big teller, is accuracy. But do I think he's going to be a first round pick at this point in time? Yes, I do. I just don't know where, and I'm actually like crazy to think. My initial thoughts were like, absolutely not. Don't want anything to do with him. But now I kind of want the Bucks to take him.
You know, there's word that Kyle Trask will compete for their starting job, but there's also other word that they're going to rebuild anyways. And so obviously he would compete, but you throw in a physical freak that's obviously Kyle Trask is not. It puts Kyle Trask on thin ice.
Yeah, I mean, if they take a guy like Anthony Richardson, I think they pick like in the 20, like low 20s. I think it's actually 20 or 21. I mean, if
I'm ready for you.
If Anthony Richardson's somehow still there at 21, which it doesn't seem like he's going to be based on this, then I think you take a chance on him. And if they do take him, what does that say about Kyle Trask at this point? I mean, no disrespect to the guy. He had to sit behind the GOAT. But, you know, I just think that if you're going to be rebuilding, I think they're like 50 million or something over the cap. If you're going to be rebuilding and retooling this team, you know, you gotta bring in a guy who's, you know, a rookie. See if he matters, you know. I mean, see if he becomes the cornerstone piece of your franchise. And, you know, as much as I'm not a big Lamar Jackson fan, there are worse quarterback options to have if you have Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson type Anthony Richardson. There are worse options to have. I'd rather have the Lamar Jackson version than the Kyler Murray version. Trust me on that
one. The guys that want to get better. Although, to be fair, Lamar Jackson's kind of ticking me off because once again, they're going to go through another deadline. of him wanting more, Ravens saying you're not that good, pal, and I give up with that guy anymore.
Well, that's contractual stuff. I'm not. I'm more leaning looking on the just the talent on the field. I mean, I really hope that, like I said, like if this guy's an accurate to semi-accurate passer, and the way he runs, how big he is. Now, of course, you don't want your quarterback. You don't want your quarterback truck sticking people. So I don't want him to take a lot of hits, but at the same time, I mean, that's not a bad spot. He's not going to go 20. I think he's going to go before that, but yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, the more and more, maybe I'm buying the hype, but like it's crazy because I watched him in Florida. I'm like, he's garbage. He's not a good quarterback, but I don't know why. Somehow I'm starting to buy the hype a little bit.
I am too, and the reason I am is because I watch more film. Like I watched extensively more games. Nice, that's a beautiful Tumblr, by the way. But right. What I was gonna say is, I like him, and I'm gonna tell you why. He made throws I believe no other quarterback in the class made. Now they were like one every 10 throws he made. To be fair, which is the big knock on him is he is so inconsistent. But it's also like he's the physical freak, though. Like you talk about, he is the guy you can take a chance on. In fact, according to an ESPN Plus article I was reading, when all these guys with the combine, there's word that he was already going to go top 12 before all this physical freak stuff came out. We actually verified how big at 6'4", 240, running that fast is insane. A 4.4 40 is just, and the fact he's jumping that high, that speed is also incredible. But he made throws where I was like, it was so effortless. It looked like a Mahomes. It looked like a Josh Allen. It was like, I know this can be thrown around in every draft now for the next 20 years, and rightfully so. But it's like, there were some deep balls. I'm like, how far I had to like replay. I was like, how far did he fling that by just sitting there? It was insane to me. So I kind of like it. I'll put it this way. I'm going to tell a team that's going to hurt me to say, if I'm going to take off their hat when I do so. Brian Dable fixed Josh Allen pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you think Daniel Jones is not worth the money he's going to get right now, which is now up to $40 million, I would gamble on Anthony Richardson and just say, hey, Daniel Jones, you're our guy right now. But it's kind of like one of those deals where eventually you're going to get replaced if you do not start making drastic improvements again. Because I'll be honest, this is a Brian Dable type of guy, just a freak of a quarterback. And I'm telling you, it was like one every 10 throws, but they were so like, God, how in the heck did he just fling that in there? It was insane. I'll just send some clips to you, but I think, again, I'm not all the way hyped in yet, but I could see where some of it is coming from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a team I kind of looked at with this spot, and I think it really works out perfectly for them. And I know you're going to be like, well, they just signed a quarterback.
Oh,
they just signed a quarterback to a big, contract and everything. Well, big contract. It's all relative in quarterback terms now. But
right.
I mean, the Seahawks got that Denver pick. I think it's 5 or 6 or 4, 5 or 6. Geno Smith, he got 3 years, $100 and something million. Congratulations, Geno, by the way.
Yep.
But they front loaded that contract. So if he doesn't live up to the hype, which let's be honest, I mean, if you had to go one way or the other, you think Geno Smith is going to come crashing back to earth.
He will, because now people know what to do with him.
Yeah. So my thought is, if this guy's going to be worth the hype of taking your second first round pick, which would be your first one of the draft, the one you got from Denver for Russell Wilson, why not go get a bigger, faster Russell Wilson?
Yep.
To maybe be another cornerstone piece of your franchise. And of course, even if Geno Smith works out as a above average quarterback with DK, Tyler Lockett, and Kenneth Walker there, that can only be good things for Seattle.
Yep.
It doesn't work out, and Anthony Richardson ends up stepping in and becoming good. Now you've got a bunch of young guys. Kenneth Walker was just a rookie. DK's been in the league 3-4 years. Tyler Lockett's the old man, and I think probably 7 years. Seattle could just retool if Anthony Richardson ends up becoming worth the top 5 draft pick.
And Pete Carroll is shown now. Who was the quarterback Pete Carroll had in college at USC?
Matt Leinart.
Now you tell me this. No one ever talks about this. Matt Leinart was it first top pick or whatever?
I think he was like top 15. Yeah.
Okay, so you got Matt Leinart, who sucked in the NFL, but Pete Carroll made him good. That could be Reggie Bush, but you get it. Russell Wilson, who now sucked it up in Denver, Gino, who sucked before. You're telling me Pete Carroll cannot fix Anthony Richardson? That's a great spot, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can. I think that's absolutely a good spot for a team with
I like it.
Yeah, a team with 2 first-round picks to just take a shot at one. I have no problem with that at all. And like I said, no disrespect to Geno Smith, but let's not act like this last season is the norm for Geno. I mean,
right.
Happened in New York, both stops. So I'm not rooting against Geno. I'm just saying, like, if you're Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, why not take a chance with one of your picks? And if it works, I mean, that's huge. Turning Russell Wilson into Anthony Richardson and just keep going down the line. I mean, that's a tough division. I know it was a little down last year, but it's a division you can't just afford to rebuild in that division.
Especially in the Rams are all of a sudden rebuilding themselves finally. So, and the fact Sean McVay's still there. So
that's a curious topic. We'll have a lot of summer to talk about for sure.
Yay. All right, so John Morant, I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but I got crucified on Twitter again. It was like a few weeks ago for like saying that he was acting weird. Like, why was he acting like a gangster? And it's incredible the timeline of events that have occurred since that point. He was on Instagram Live the other weekend at a club holding a gun in his left hand. Grizzlies coach Taylor Jenkins said there's no timetable for his return. Ja has made difficult decisions and poor choices. He's already been suspended for 2 games by the NBA, and it could be a lot more pending a police investigation, I guess, into the incident with the gun.
Right.
He didn't all of a sudden delete his Instagram and Twitter accounts. Remember, I told you before, he barked a lot even after his family member was banned for a year from the Memphis games. He was still barking about it. So now he's just completely wiped it clean. One thing that stuck out to me, though, is I was reminded of this going through Twitter rabbit holes again. Remember when he said to a fan like last year, "Oh, I'll show you how some hollows feel," or whatever?
Yeah, it was like a tweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tweet. And like people kind of looked into it like, I don't know. But I have a tweet I like to share for myself. I don't have it verbatim right now, but basically I said, is there a bigger issue in Memphis here? Like, does this all stop at John Morant? Because doesn't Dylan Brooks have a reputation of being a dirty player? I'm not saying he would flash a gun, but it doesn't seem like John Morant has a voice in there to tell him, well, don't do that. He's obviously still doing it. I know Stephen A. Smith made an excellent point about why is John Morant's father acting like his bro more than a father should. That was a point I hadn't even thought of yet.
Gravy train.
Yeah, it's really weird what's going on right now. It's also sad because I've watched John Morant highlights in the last couple of years. He knows how to fall. Derrick Rose did not, which is why the injuries happened. John Morant is what we wanted from Derrick Rose, and yet he's turning into I don't want to say thug, but he's turning into a street version of Derrick Rose, which is actually I'd rather take the knee injuries at this point. Like, what is he doing? What is your take on this? Because I think this is absolutely horrible. I think the NBA should make an example out of him. I think he's in trouble, man. He's in big trouble.
When you say you make an example, I mean, you think he should be done for this year?
I do. I don't think you can have that many gun threats in your life, in your past, plus that boy that you socked in the head 12. I don't think you can do that. That's a horrible look for the league.
So, yeah, 2 things I have on this one, which I'll let you kind of bounce off of, is the first one is I read that basically the night before the Instagram Live with the brandishing the gun inside the nightclub was a players only meeting led by Steven Adams to address the team's road behavior.
Yep.
The night before or the day of.
Sad.
So to me, it's like, what are we doing here at this point? People are trying to stop you from, being stupid, I guess, for lack of a better word. The second thing is, I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter, like, apparently John Morant's like a fake gangster.
That's what I was talking about. That's why I called him a gangster, because I was like, what is he trying to prove? Like, it became a running joke on his tweets where people are like, I love you, but you're not like that, bro.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp said it.
He didn't grow up poor. He didn't grow up.
I think he went to a private school, actually, growing up, I read about.
He grew up normal. He grew up a little preppy. He went to a private school. They did an 8-mile freestyle on him, which I think if you haven't seen that, that's incredible.
Huh.
It's they're trying to like they're laughing at him like your name's not even Ja, it's Demetrius or something like that.
Gross. Sorry.
But like now all of a sudden you think you're hard because you're in the NBA and you got money. It's like this is the time where you're supposed to get like away from that life if you were in it. Like you have the money, you win, you're the better person. I think I said that. I think we both said that last time we did the show or last time we talked about John Morant. Like, dude, this is the time you're supposed to be like, no, I'm not about that life. And that's when the life tries to catch up to you. And we've seen it grab a lot of, prominent athletes. And we talked about like Pac-Man Jones. Like, okay, no, he wasn't really guilty of everything. But once these accusations and allegations start stacking up, it's like, well, geez, where there's smoke, is there fire? I mean, how many times do we John Watson? It was like, oh, 5 girls looking for a pet. Oh, 10, oh, 20, oh, 30. It's like, all right, there's probably some stuff going on here, at this point. But, as it's an innocent until proven guilty kind of thing. But if he brought a gun on a plane, that's a felony.
It's pretty sickening.
Yeah.
And another thing I'll say about it is this. I've also called out Memphis Grizzlies as an organization, not just because of their teammates. They have allowed this for so long. Like, they know more than people are giving them credit for. And the fact that it took an entire public outcry shows me they're a scumbag organization right now. And I'm comfortable with saying that. First of all,
I don't know about that.
You allow the players to go aim gun beams at people. That's fine. You allow the report of the boy. I know they had to have known about the boy who got his head punched in. You knew about them saying, how do hollows feel on Twitter. Why does it take until these possible felonies happen for you to do anything? Like, you're allowing this behavior until, like you said, there becomes a fire. Like, somebody may be striking a match, you're letting it happen until he realizes there's no repercussions for it besides talking heads. That's not good to me.
It's tough because you look at it two ways here, and there's really not a win scenario for a lot of these teams to discipline, because we already have this, especially in basketball, there's already somehow this mentality in football too, that this is like somehow still a slave trade. I mean, I heard that term again with the combine just recently, and it's like, a slave trade where they're competing for millions of dollars in draft rights. I don't know.
Good.
You can't get me to wrap my head around that. But if they find out about these issues and find him internally, then they're taking money from a man's pocket. They're taking money from a black man. It's just it's a problem at that point. And then you look at it. Okay, if the team gets out ahead of it and suspends them, well, it's like, well, he hasn't been proven guilty of anything. You're right, he hasn't been proven guilty of anything. But like, there's so many investigations going on. The situation with the laser beams, you're right, that wasn't Ja exactly, but I think he was involved
in the car.
Which one?
He was in the car. Ja was.
And he was involved. We don't know the extent of his involvement.
Right.
But now I think it's gone to a point. I'm not trying to debunk. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think Memphis is caught in a rock and a hard place. There's a lot of these little incidents that for a while there, an organization is going to be like, look, man, we'll cover you up. We'll protect you. But if it gets out, if somehow this gets out, like, we have to do something. And then that's kind of a handshake deal to say, look, okay, here it is, Ja. We're not going to suspend you. We're not going to fine you. But if this gets out, we may have to take a step away from you for a second. You understand this, right? And of course, I would assume John Morant's like, yeah, I understand. And some of these people, athletes, they've just never been told no. They've never had anything taken away from them. They've never, I can't speak for every single athlete because that's not fair. But like, a lot of these kids growing up, they've never been told no. They've never been told they can't do something. So they think they're on top of the world. And sometimes they're right. But sometimes the world really does matter more than you just being a sports athlete. And that's when you have 5, 6, 7 allegations against you.
Amen. Sad. I hope Ja gets it together, man. But thankfully it's early. But we said that last time. Thankfully he's young and he can fix it. But he didn't fix it. And now it's a whole different can of worms.
I'll say the last thing is, though, the reason that this one's so sour to me versus others is the fact that, like, I think it's all fake. Like, you're not about that life. So why are you trying to insert yourself into that life and ruin your life and ruin your financial career? It doesn't make sense to me. It's not like the past is coming back to haunt him. He's inserting himself into the wrong, behavioral tendencies. It's dumb.
Who's he hanging out with? Yep.
Yeah.
You seen the jokes for it, right?
About
Like
what?
one of them was Jaw Wick.
No,
Another one was like Jaw Warrant, like Warrant.
that one's pretty good. I do encourage you to watch the. I don't know if you ever seen the movie 8 Mile with Eminem, but it's basically a rap movie
I'm
about.
not that white.
Yeah, 8 Mile's great. It won an Oscar.
Fair enough.
They have a freestyle in the movie that they kind of morphed around Ja Morant about being a preppy boy with both parents and growing up kind of traditional, and it's pretty funny. If anybody who's an 8 Mile fan would like that.
Shout out to my guy, MOP Freedom, who I actually used to work with, and is now like a pretty semi-successful rapper in the Atlanta area. He made a song a few years ago called Ja Morant. Like, he's gonna go Grizzly, call him Ja Morant, and now it looks even cooler. So fair enough. Okay, let's get to some more NBA stuff quickly here before we move on. What if I told you Steph Curry came back, Klay Thompson played, both of them scored over 20 points, Draymond Green played, Jordan Poole played, Kevon Looney played. Lakers brought out Anthony Davis and a bunch of guys who Rob Pelinka acquired because there was no D'Angelo Russell. There was no LeBron James. What if I told you Lakers were up by 20, ended up holding on to win that game?
That would tell me.
Insane.
I'm thankful that I do not bet the NBA because I have tried in the past and failed. Falling on my face betting the NBA. It's incredible. What does this say about both of these teams? I don't know, because the Lakers are still just like it's weird. They can get up for a big game, but they're still a sub 500 or right around 500 team?
They're 31 and 34.
Okay, so they're 3 games under 500. It's crazy. I think are they still tied for like the play-in game? I mean, this is what we're talking
about. They're moving up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they get it together, because the Lakers in the playoffs is better than the Lakers out of the playoffs. It's funny because you talk about how why are the Cowboys so relevant? Like, here we are with the Lakers. Why are the Lakers so relevant? Because they're a brand. We're talking about a 31 and 34 team, a 10th place team in the West.
Well, and LeBron and AD when healthy, to be fair.
Say that again.
LeBron and AD to be when they're healthy, to be fair, are pretty stinking good.
Right, they are good. But my point is that you wouldn't be talking about, if the Clippers were in 10th, we wouldn't be talking about them, even if LeBron was on their team. But the Lakers are a brand. The Lakers are a relevant brand. They always have been. They always will be. But I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, the Warriors just cannot win when they're not at home. I
thought it was interesting too. Yeah,
it's insane. But yeah, the question really you take from this is: are you worried about the Warriors come playoff time? Because last week you said they're making the conference final.
I'm not worried. I'm worried. Are they better without Steph? I know it sounds stupid and ludicrous, but when a guy who does not play defense just chucks shots, to be fair, and has had one decent finals on his resume, they can win without him. And I wonder, I don't know. I feel like I like watching them better when they have Steph Curry this year, because Jordan Poole plays a lot more freely.
I'll take your word for that. Obviously, I watch significantly less NBA than you do. But watching him in the finals last year, you can't tell me they can win a championship without Steph Curry.
That's fair. Speaking of championship, how about the Celtics? The same day, they played. I'm trying to get to that point.
They played the Knicks, didn't they?
They did play the Knicks, and Knicks won without Jalen Brunson in overtime, because this guy named Emmanuel Quickly, who has a D+ scouting grade from CBS Sports Network a few years ago, dropped like 38 and 55 minutes. Again, no Jalen Brunson. That was the one piece of they've had that's been awesome this year. They didn't even need him. Knicks have won like 9 straight, I believe, which is insane to think the Knicks are doing better. But Tom Thibodeau, good coach. Yeah, he runs his young players into the ground. Sometimes it works for the whole regular season. Knicks are an example of that. Celtics also lost last night. Grant Williams told Donovan Mitchell of the Cavaliers, I'm going to make both these free throws. He made to make one to win the game with 0.6 seconds to go. Missed them both. Cavs won in overtime.
A little slice of humble pie there.
He said, I'm going to make them both. I'm going to make them both. Clanked them both. Pretty bad. It's going to making his rounds on Twitter.
Good.
Yeah. Suns beat the Mavs. Now, this one, Luka scored 34. Kyrie scored 30. Booker scored 36. Kevin Durant scored 37. Aaron, that might be a West Finals. I mean, I don't know. There are the Clippers who might choke. Nuggets who have the elephant in the room here, the slow, ugly elephant. I'm sorry. You've got the Lakers who, if they get healthy, for crying in the sink. The Warriors who are defending champions. Now the Suns and the Mavs look like this. Who is going to make it out of the West, man? Good Lord Almighty.
The crazy thing is you look at all these teams, like you said, Phoenix, Dallas, Golden State, all these guys. It's going to be where, you have the Clippers too. It's going to be where anybody who's ousted in the second round, you're going to look at a season as a failure. All these teams are at minimum Western Conference Finals worthy, and obviously they can't all make it. So it'll be interesting.
Would be nice to see that. If like some years they could just like veto the whole conference playoffs things, that would be one of those years this year. That'd be nice.
In terms of like just the best 16 teams.
Yeah,
I think that should be the way it is in sports now, with how easy it is to travel.
And even then, like for the regular season, sure, keep the conferences, but at the end of it, get rid of them.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say, look, what are there, 30 teams in the league?
Yeah.
You play everybody twice. That's 60. And okay, yeah, you have maybe if you want to do conferences, you play everybody in your conference a third time, and then you, like you said, best 16 records go.
And get rid of the Magic. That'd be cool. They're not relevant franchise.
Hey, whoa.
That's
fine. I don't care.
There you go. And yeah, that's all I got for this segment. When we come back, we're talking NFL because there's a lot. Who dat quarterback won? We'll talk about it. It's the AM Drive.
All right, welcome back here to the AM Drive on this Tuesday edition. We are presented by Fanatics. It's very simple. You see that website below, mikeandaarondrive.com. Go to that, click the F, and the Fanatics store is right there at your fingertips, where you can get awesome hats like the one I have, the one Mike has as well, some jerseys, maybe a better one than Mitchell Trubisky, of course, but anything sports related that you can think of, Fanatics has you covered. But first, mikeandaarondrive.com is the key, because that helps support this show, and we thank you tremendously when you do that. So once again, mikeandaarondrive.com, click the Fanatics link, shop Fanatics today.
Woo! Good job, sir.
Thanks.
All right, who dat quarterback won, Aaron? Who is it?
It looks like it's a vehicle, Mr. Derek Carr.
I'm dead. Aaron, the question I raised you on this topic is, I know the Raiders got him it's $100 million guaranteed over 4 years and like 140 total, whatever that means. At this point in time, and even going into the season, unless unless Desmond Ridder goes crazy, even if the Panthers trade up like they want to and get Bryce Young, even if the LOL. So I'm sorry. Question for you: does this make the Saints the automatic NFC South favorites? I say, I'll wait for your answer.
Today, yes. Of course, we have draft. We have post-June 1 cut free agent. Of course. Anything. Look at the way the NFL, and I love the way the NFL and the NBA do this. I don't know if do this is the right way, but like with the NBA, of course, one player out of 5 has a big impact, but especially a quarterback in the NFL, like these positions have such a tremendous ripple effect. Like, yeah, of course, Derek Carr makes the Saints the best. I mean, you have Alvin Kamara. If Michael Thomas decides to come back, which he tweeted, "Thank you God" or something like that, "Thank the Lord."
Oh,
If he decides to come back, obviously you have him, Chris Olave. A relatively respectable defense. With a head coach who's defensive minded. Um, of course they do. I mean, you look at the Bucks, no quarterback, $50 million over the cap. You look at the Carolina Panthers, no quarterback. Did go 7-10 with what they have in the cupboard right now, so they would be my second, my close number 2. And then Atlanta, still again, no quarterback. Desmond Ridder, they would have given him more time if they really believed he was game ready. I don't know. I'm rooting for the guy, but
can I mention that real quick? I'm getting sick and tired. Have you noticed how many experts were saying, "Oh, Falcons going to draft the quarterback"? Didn't they just draft the quarterback in the top whatever last year?
he's a 3rd rounder. It doesn't
Oh,
really.
give me a break.
It
That's
doesn't
their
mean.
future, I thought.
You know me. You draft a quarterback every year. Now, do they want to spend a 1st-round pick on one? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe Will Levis is there in the 2nd round. They like him. I don't know.
Gross.
I like Desmond Ridder. Do I think he should get a chance? Absolutely. But it's not my job on the line. So, as of today, and probably, I would say probably till preseason, unless something's huge, like, Brady decides to come back or something like that. Like, I think the Saints are the automatic NFC South favorites. Like you said, if somehow Aaron Rodgers wakes up tomorrow and says he wants to be a Carolina Panther, and then they're the NFC South favorites. But yeah, with Derek Carr, now I've been probably more on the Derek Carr wagon than a lot of people. I thought he got a bad rap in Oakland the last couple of years for performing relatively well, but at the same time, do I think he's a great quarterback? No, not in the slightest. I will say this though, hope for you with Derek Carr getting, I think you get like 35 million and Geno getting 34 or 37 million, whatever the math works out to per year. Danny Dimes might get 40.
Woo, my man.
Think about this. Here's a stat for your back pocket here for the next couple of days. Is Danny Dimes has won more playoff games than Geno and Derek Carr combined.
You hear that? Ah.
That's for you, buddy. No charge.
Right. I don't. The only team I would see Aaron Rodgers going to and actually making a difference, like besides the Panthers, I actually think Falcons could be the better fit. Like, could be the more win now. Look what they've done the last Arthur. What is this? I forgot what the coach's name is.
Blank. Oh, the coach, Smith, right?
Yeah. I forgot his name by this point. But anyways, Smith what? Like, what is this? I forgot his name. I don't know why.
Arthur Smith. Yeah, you're right.
That's the coach? That's the coach? I always forget.
Hey, I'll say this. He's not going to the NFC South.
Why?
Aaron Rodgers isn't going to the NFC South. He's staying in Green Bay for that 60 mil, or he's going to the Jets.
I think Jets is a pipe dream for people in New York. That's not going to happen either.
They're already talking.
Jimmy G, baby. Oh, no.
Those are the two. It wouldn't shock me. I think Jimmy G might go to the Raiders with McDaniels.
Yeah, there's thought. And they say McDaniels wants to trade for Mac Jones, and Bill Belichick's going to say, kiss my ass on that one, but you get it.
I think maybe if McDaniels gives him a sweetheart deal and gives him a 1st-round pick, he might trade Mac Jones.
Sweetheart deal.
Giving up Mac Jones.
My thing on Derek Carr is this: they will become not just NFC South favorite; they might become an NFC contender. And I'm not a Derek Carr guy, you know this. And to be fair, sure, I'm glad he played good in Oakland because he didn't play in Oakland the last few years. He played in Las Vegas, so that debunks that theory, sir.
Well, 2 years playoffs and almost won that game.
You said Oakland though, so it doesn't matter.
Vegas. Nice try.
Said Oakland.
Nice try. Well, sometimes I forget there's a team here.
And that's sad. You guys have a good lacrosse team. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm also wearing a banana shirt. You like those guys too.
They're giving away a sweet jersey. The Desert Dogs are here.
You saw that Wayne Gretzky thing?
I saw that.
Please get one. Always try to get one.
I gotta work.
Oh, that's sad. Anyways, I think so. I saw a stat like Chris Olave was like top 5 in 3rd down targets last year. First of all, how's it even possible? Because they're a run-first defensive team that had no quarterback last year. They had like 3 different quarterbacks they threw out there. How is Chris Olave already that good?
He was
And you
good.
could add Michael Thomas.
I don't know if they kept Jarvis Landry on too as well, but I
Oh
think
God.
I think Chris Olave might be their number one going into next year.
And I forgot where Calvin Ridley's at. Speaking of the NFC South,
He went to Jacksonville.
that's Trevor Lawrence gonna have, and really Doug Peterson gonna have more kiddies to play with.
Yeah, 100%. I that move's looking real good right now that he's reinstated.
Oh, he's reinstated now?
Yeah, they just reinstated him. I think over the weekend. Yeah.
No one tells me anything, man.
You spend hours a day on Twitter going through John Morant.
Oh, that's not okay. You're right. That's true. That's true.
You don't see that Calvin Ridley got reinstated. Yeah, I mean, of course, the NFC South favorite. If nothing changed tomorrow, they're of course. I mean, he's the best quarterback. They have the best receiving core. Well, no, I think
so Jesus and the 12 apostles. Yeah, that's a good point.
The Bucks receivers are better theoretically, but they don't have anybody to throw it to them.
Brady's fault.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think if you're trying to bet the NFC South, they're the favorites, followed by Carolina and Atlanta and Tampa. You could throw with 3 and 4. It's interchangeable.
Shame on you. Atlanta's way better than Tampa. Stop that.
I don't agree with you with Atlanta being more win now than Carolina, but I don't think. I mean, I think if we're looking at a level of playoff contender and more than capable to win, playoff contenders up here, and these two are like just getting onto the screen. So let's not sugarcoat that at all. You're giving too much credit.
What do you say?
I said you're giving too much credit to both of those teams, and I'm probably giving more credit to Carolina than you are with Atlanta.
Yeah, you got blue stuff coming out your ears. It's kind of weird.
7-10 with the disaster that they went through, firing their coach. How many quarterbacks did they go through? At least 3 or 4.
Like 5.
And I mean, they went through Matt Corral, PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield all in a day.
Dude, Matt Corral, you hear about his new update? He may not even be ready for OTAs again. I'm like, oh, there goes his career.
Most likely, yeah. He's probably going to be an injured guy. But 7-10 with what they did, I mean, you got to tip your cap to them.
All right, bet. Aaron Rodgers is going where? I know we already touched on it a little bit. I mean, I think it's. I'm with you. I think it's Green Bay.
So I would have said that too because for me it was Green Bay or retire. But then I was listening to the radio and they said that if he plays for Green Bay, he makes $59 million.
Heck yeah, go there.
Yeah, in what world? I understand everybody. It's not always about the money. Well,
BS. Yes, it is. For him, it is.
Apparently, this morning he has been in contact with the New York Jets, at least opening the door to going to New York.
Which I did not even know that was a thing before. I don't think he ever did that beforehand.
No, he did that whole go into darkness for 4 days.
No, I'm talking about previous years. He hasn't even entertained anybody else, I don't think.
Well, I think, 2 years ago when he was entertaining being traded, they ended up signing him to that huge Aaron Rodgers friendly type deal, which now they're in. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, again, I know what I would do. I would stay in the place where I'm most comfortable and take $59 million freaking dollars.
Yep.
But
if I'm the Colts, I sign Mitchell Trubisky and I draft Bryce Young, or if I don't get Bryce Young, we're waiting for either Jake Hayner or what's the other guy's name?
What is Matt Ryan?
Huh?
What is Matt Ryan's status?
Dead.
Isn't he still he's still under contract, isn't he?
I don't care.
Well, the problem is you can't just go signing Mitch Trubisky
you can.
So you're telling me
mentor Sam Ellinger.
You want Mitch Trubisky, Sam Ellinger, Matt Ryan, and Bryce Young all on one team.
I really do. Pipe dream, baby.
You know what they say about having 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks? You have none quarterbacks.
That's right. Not everyone can have a Vasilevsky, okay? We need one.
You know what? I'll come out and say this. He has looked like a complete and utter dog shit after the All-Star break. He looks like he doesn't belong in an AHL game right now.
Go see a dump on his jersey in the background after you took us home.
That's right here.
Yeah.
Good here for us. Thank you guys for tuning in, listening, supporting, all of that jazz. We'll be back on Friday with another edition of the AM Drive here. Make sure in between time that you check out our shop sponsors, socials, and YouTube. Of course, subscribe at mikeandaarondrive.com. All the links are there. And for Michael Carvelis, I'm Aaron Crouch saying have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Drive safe.